Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning. We just recorded a podcast.
You just recorded a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. When did you guys get up?
Well, that's insane.
Whew. What is today? Friday? I don't even know. I think it's Friday. 7:30 a.m. I think my body laughed at my 6:30 alarm this morning and just said, no, not happening. Until my friend Lawrence was knocking on the door saying, well, we gotta go, John. We gotta go. Anyway, 4 hours of sleep a night is not enough, like 3 days in a row. But super pumped for the factory tour today. Let's do this.
We start here at S10 with the circuit boards, circuit cupboards, however you cabinets.
Yes, control cabinets.
You do all the electrical stuff, then you get the basement of the machine. The cabinet gets mounted to it, then you have the access system, you have all the periphery, and it runs through. And at the last point, you do have the chassis, the housing, and then the machine is ready.
So you physically move the machine between stations?
Yes, usually yes, but right now what you see is that there is already a machine that is pretty far ahead because of the fact that we had 100% or even a little bit more of the capacity used right now. We can move, we can switch. The switching helps us to get a little bit more capacity, but just for a certain period of time, so we do that. The roots of this machine go back to the first machines that Kern built. The story is, I don't know if you know, Kern is usually coming, or the origin of Kern is contract manufacturing. And we had one big customer in Munich, which was IBM at that time, and IBM wanted to do probe cards. And you know what probe cards are? It's a very small plate, it's round, made of Vespel or of ceramic material, and you have very small holes in it. You need that for the manufacturing of microchips and the testing afterwards. So very, very tight tolerances, lots of holes in a, I would say, demanding material. And there was no machine available to do that. So Kern started build their own machine and tested it. It worked out. And somebody had the idea, respectively IBM, said, oh, if you have a machine like that, I would like to buy one. So we built 5, and we had a waiting list. And then we built 10, and the waiting lists went bigger and bigger. And so this was the beginning of the machinery business as part of it.
But you were already doing job shop or contract manufacturing work for some time before that?
Yes, for, I would say, that was 82, that was nearly 20 years already where the company existed,
Huh.
And today, it's roughly, I would say, 2/3 of the whole turnaround is machinery, and the last third is service and contract manufacturing. So we're doing things like that, improving and just getting customer innovation into the machine.
So necessarily when you buy one today and buy one in 3 months, you might get an upgraded machine. Like if you would buy the same machine actually.
Yeah, but you will see that later on. So we still get machines for service that are 30 years old.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you buy a micro today, you want to be sure in 3 years from now you still have the latest setup, and that is how we design the machine. So you always have the possibility to upgrade and to retrofit things to keep up with competition. So you want to buy a machine today, and we want to ensure that for the next 10 years you are differentiated versus competition.
Yeah, fair point.
So what you can do is you can handle small parts with the internal, big parts with the external, or you can shift between raw material and finished material and things like that.
I can do all parts in one machine right now. When you've got a very precise part, usually like handling and setup is the worst bit of getting the most errors in your part, so you want to do as much in one go.
The workpiece setup is very, very
important.
Yeah,
so if you're having a machine this accurate, it would probably be like stupid almost to do 3 or 4 setups if you could buy the same version in a 5-axis machine and do them in one setup, right?
Yes.
Just touring the place.
Yeah.
So clean.
You've been to a lot of factories. You've been to Hermele, you've been to...
I've been to Hermele, to Hedelius, which is another German manufacturer. You don't see them in the US. But we've been to a couple of factories, and it's quiet.
I know, it's so quiet. I spent the whole day here yesterday. I'm like, I can hear a guy whistling. Like, it's so wonderful.
It's so quiet, and everyone seems to have a purpose, right? Like, everyone that does walk around has a purpose. And
they're focused, but they're not hustling. They're not like running and like frazzled. They're comfortable
because they're making a good product. Like, so they're not like worried about getting it out tomorrow. I think they rather ship it out a week later and have a good product, right? So it feels so different to any other type of manufacturing I've been to.
Yep, me too.
And just the way that like you're not the technical CEO, but the sales guy knows anything about why a machine's been built like that, and why they're making new bases. And
and there's 80 people here. He's saying hi and to the name like of every single person walking by.
Yeah. He knows all of them. It's crazy. Like we were talking about that if you buy a Kern, you are not buying a machine. You're becoming part of the family, right? And if you walk into this place, it feels like that.
Yeah, and you see it. And you see the service and support and the old machines that they're restoring, and the admiration and appreciation they have for the entire company history as well. And
they'll not say other machines are bad or whatever.
Right.
Like they're proud of what they do, and it's insane. Just like the feel you get once you walk in, the hospitality, like everything's fine. Like the guys on the line, we asked what's the accuracy of the run out of the spindle, and they're like, yeah, this is the accuracy for this measurement and that for that. And
it's happy to share.
Yeah, happy to share it. They're proud of it. They're not hiding any of it, so that's cool.
So what we have here is the tool cabinet. This is just a minor feature. What we figured out is customers want to handle their tools best in this pallet system. So you can put all in. I would say register one full pallet in the system, and you don't have to register every single tool, and you can just put it in and out and handle it very easily and carry it back and forth, for example.
Yeah, so you can actually register like one pallet of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and then you
just say this is the pallet.
So you just call pallet 132 and then load the whole pallet in. And exactly. That's awesome.
Because this is still a very manual thing. And what we are doing is right now we're working on an automatic automatic application that you don't have to register every single tool and tool. The fun part here is, so we have this is here 109.
It's incredible. It doesn't look that large to fit that number of tools.
Yeah. I would say from thermal properties, aluminum is not ideal for making a machine or building an access out of that. But there's a very positive thing in that. So the heat that you put into an aluminum system is spread very quickly. So you also get the heat out very quickly. And if we push through a lot of cooling or temperature liquids, that is the ideal material for us. Plus, it's very predictable.
Okay.
So while you have iron, for example, and you have a heat source here in the middle, you have the distortion just on this one single point. With the aluminum, we can ensure that we get the heat out very quickly and it's more homogeneous.
Yes.
Okay, so by far better for us to manage than, for example, iron cast or whatever.
I never would have guessed that aluminum was a key part of the world's most one of the most accurate machines in the world.
5-axis machine for sure.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Quite funny.
Yes, it is.
And it's not a logical assumption.
Right.
But
whereas once you hear it,
it makes total sense.
It makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore, for the micro that was years and years of research until we got to the point that we had it under control, actually.
Yeah.
And one also very important point is that the access system, of course, is a lot lighter and more dynamic than...
it's all wins, right?
Yeah.
If you know how to manage it properly.
Exactly. That's the point, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I just got to talk about this. There is so much plumbing and pneumatics and just cooling hoses everywhere. There's more that than electrical wiring. It's insane. So he was saying that even the servo motor bracket mount has coolant going through it, is individually temperature managed. If this is, I believe, the y-axis. If the y-axis gets hotter than the x-axis, this bracket receives more coolant and will cool down and hold between 0.01 of a Kelvin or something like that, 0.1 of a Kelvin. Insane. It's just nuts.
For the new generation, we are running 160 liters per minute through the machine. Whoa. And temperature going in the machine and temperature going out of the machine, the difference is 0.1 Kelvin. So
oh my gosh.
That is, so the temperature difference between in and out is 0.1 Kelvin maximum.
You're only pulling out 0.1 Kelvin of heat.
You're maintaining a consistency.
It's so quick.
The system temperature stays so stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
If it would
technically,
be more-
for like the particle once it travels through the system is 0.1
Of course,
Kelvin.
you're
but
only,
yeah.
you're only allowing the machine to heat up 0.01 Kelvin at any one time.
Maximum, yeah. And so generally we say even less. So we put machines in climatic chambers.
Yeah.
And with infrared
Yeah.
camera or infrared inspection over time and the machine running, you see the gradient. You can see it in the color and also measure it. And this machine is temperature-wise 100% stable. You will not see any change in color of anything. So what we do is, and most of the time if there's an order, guys from application department or from service, whoever was involved in the sales will go up with the customer most of the time and ring the bell. And I have a megaphone and then I shout down which machine, the micro, and the customer name.
Wow.
What I always say is, for the customer, if we ring the bell and you come back 6 months later to pick up the machine and you meet our facility manager outside, so the guy who is taking care that the
driveway.
Yeah, is clear and shoveling snow or whatever, he knows who you are. Everyone knows who you are. So you're not just customer XYZ,
Right.
but you're one of the 60 this year, and even if we don't see you for 10 years, most of the people will know who you are if you come back after 10 years and will know your machine. And that is, yeah, that's important. So
Yeah, you're not buying a machine, you're becoming part of the Kern family, right?
exactly.
You
That's
need
the-
Kern family t-shirts.
Yeah, we have something like that, but just for internal.
We can't tell you about it though
Yeah.
until you become part of the family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I don't know if I got footage of this, but they only make about 60 machines a year, which is insane. So like Hermle makes 1,000, DMG Mori must make tens of thousands, I don't know, like
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah, yeah, that is true. And therefore, this is the size we have since, I don't know, 5 years.
Okay.
We could grow, but actually we don't want to, because we would leave, yeah, the system that where we have today, where we know every machine, and also a big part of Kern is we want to sell you a machine, but we are interested in the specifics that you have, the specific needs.
I see.
And we are able to do some adaptations and customization that happens within the process. On the last place here, we always have time and resources to
Interesting.
do special things. So if you need a visual, how do you call it? Nullpunkt? 0 point? The 0 point setting or something like that? We don't have that.
Right.
You ask us, we will figure out and we will do something
Yeah.
to ensure you get it. And that is important because Kern is only successful if the customers are successful, and the better we can serve their needs, the more successful they are, and that is the. What the topic is, this thing is extremely well built, it's extremely heavy, and there's it's designed to have no distortion at all. And also, of course, temperature controlled and optimized for the use within the micro. It's not something that we buy from stock, but it's totally manufactured after our requirements, and we designed it.
it almost just looks like a spindle, like
It does.
a assembled motor spindle like in one.
Where is the C-axis drive? Is it a direct drive?
It must be in
It's
here.
a torque drive.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's tricky because do you run, if you're allowed to share this, do you run heat cooling systems through?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And therefore, what we claim is the micro with this 4th and 5th axis is, from our knowledge, the most accurate we know in the market, especially over time. And what you can do is, of course, in certain kind of environment, you can get down to the micron also in 5 axis one time. But what our customers demand, and every single one of them, is I do 10 parts and the first is as good as the last. And this is what the machine is built for. No movement at all, first part, good part, last part, good part.
So with a normal 5-axis machine that cannot go both ways, when you're doing a 5-axis move, you would have to stop at the beginning and rotate the C-axis and move to the other side, where here you could do a continuous cut. So accuracy-wise, it makes total sense to do that.
So everybody's going to take off for a second. Something I noticed about this machine shop in Germany and Tornos in Switzerland, there are similarities. One kind of minor thing that I look at as a huge thing is there are windows everywhere. There's skylights in the ceiling. There's windows. Okay, there's not windows in the wall, but there are 20, 50 skylights in the ceiling. It brings this beautiful aura of natural light in here. Tornos had the same thing. Windows everywhere. That's fantastic. The bathrooms are super similar and super clean. Everybody's got really good quality toilet paper. I like that. There are similarities. I like that. It's different than what I typically see in North America.
So into the facility itself. This, by the way, here was a lucky incident for us roughly 10 years ago. This is the former Marke ski binding.
No.
Yes,
that's
it
funny.
is. And the whole thing. And we bought it 10 years ago. And today, this is one of the biggest buildings in the whole area. And for us, it's perfect. Also in terms with climate control and so on, or air conditioning and so on. So that was just perfect. And what we're doing right now is we're investing into the staff areas, so the restrooms and whatsoever to keep that up. It's usually every money we spend here, we think twice if we invest it into the machine or an R&D or in some stuff that that's just nice. So this is a special application. So what you see here, you have all the tool holders, like you know before, not with the, but directly mounted. Therefore, we also have 102.
HSK40 size.
Yo. Plus, we have holders here, like that. That's a special design for holding raw material, blank material. In this case, it's brass.
Yeah.
And that go in there, and we can exchange them with this thing here. So we put it into the machine, into the system, even if it's that big. So you see, perhaps we can.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So nearly everything is possible. So we put that in, we mill it, and we mill very small parts of that. And in the past, this whole blank with all small parts in there was finished. Somebody went there, picked it out, and cut out the bars. The tabbing. What we do in the next generation is we have things like that go under this part. And what we do is we put that in the machine too. We cut the tabs and the things fall down into this basket. And we exchange everything back into the workpiece changer, and the guy then just once a day needs to come pick up those things. And and that's it. All in 4 square meters. So usually you have, look at that, you have those brushes on the bottom. So it's a combination of the both. This is the You see that? That's the old machines. We're buying back everything we can get our hands on, because there are lots of people who say, wow, do you still have a table machine? I have 2 table machines and I don't know how long they last. They're 30 years old. Do you have another one? And so we do that, we refurbish it and done.
But, so would you like leave it with this control, or would you like put a new control on?
No.
That's cool. Like
We leave it like that. And we have, actually we have spare parts for everything. There was just one time with, I think, machine number 5, where we had to take our
machine number 5
history. So we have a museum machine that was standing in front. And actually we had to take a part of the control from the museum machine because there was no spare part available anymore. But
you stole a museum machine part to fix a custom part?
Yeah. We still have guys around that are here for 20, 25, 30 years that actually built the machine when they left the factories. And so we have, I would say 95%, even on this machine that is from, I would say 1984 or something like that, we still get spare parts for that, or we're refurbishing parts to ensure that we can maintain and repair. Hermless here for milling things, for learning to mill, because you will not start on a pyramid nano or something like that. You start on a
we'll say you will not start on a Hermlet. Like anywhere else in the world, a Hermlet is like the machine you want if you do 5-axis machining. And here at Kern they say like, all right,
the apprentice department.
Apprentice department, you get a Hermlet. Like,
but this is not a marketing thing, but this is the reality. So we figured out in K1 and in the contract manufacturing that people really make a step forward in working on those machines, and then you add the next step on a Kern. So we have all these old machines here. We have so that's the first part of the training department. So this is also just for training. We've done that last year. Just to ensure we have the best possible training within the region. People come here, apply for jobs. We can develop them and they stay with us. They go to service department, they go to applications department, they go into contract manufacturing or wherever. So we actually don't have to look for people externally too much because we are growing our own future.
We're just driving in and I heard Saunders say from the back seat, this might be the best view I've ever had in my life.
Hard to see right now. We're like,
yeah, like right through there.
Yeah. There's this mountain.
Mountains through there.
And seriously, like we're about to move in one of the biggest high precision job shops in the world, and it looks like a house. Like,
yeah, it's a small building. It could be a dental office, like, for all I care.
This building used to be the location for both business units of Kern, so the machine sales and the subcontracting. And this room was used for the last check of the machines, and they were put through this door.
Oh my gosh.
So this door was the limit for the machine size itself. Yeah, and that's why the Kern Evo was the maximum size, and then we decided to move to another plant. Yeah. So my name is Tobis, and I'm working for Kern Microtechnik since 4 years now, and I'm responsible for all the sales work with customers for subcontracting. And if you have a look here, we do have a shop floor. So every morning the workers come here and they tell us how many parts they produce and how many parts were out of specification. So it's a really good thing to start in the morning, and then everyone knows what the other one are doing. Yeah. So as you already know, Kern has got 2 business units, and the business unit we are responsible for is the subcontracting. So we are a manufacturing unit, and we are really looking for serial production. So when we talk about serial production, we mean we are manufacturing 20,000–30,000 pieces per year, but we are really looking for small parts. So as long as the parts are really precise and small and accurate, we are interested in doing them. We are manufacturing really small parts. So, oh yeah, we are talking about a 0.4 millimeter diameter. No, you want to have a look, or you want to try to find it? Just let me open it.
This is the joke, we're just putting this on.
That's the part, yeah.
What? It's on the film?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's true. So it's made out of PEEK, and it's really tough to handle it.
Yeah, I'd say. It's there.
It's
there?
You have to look. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, right. It's like that.
Okay, so it's a tiny version of that.
It's the same part like that, just 100 times smaller than it.
Thinking that, you know, machine shops are typically very loud. The only thing I hear is mist collectors.
Yeah, just the air system.
And there's like 4 or 5 mist collectors here, and that's the hum, that's the drone.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not like,
There's no sheer hog.
yeah. Something else I noticed, they're very good about having dedicated workstations with a table, a microscope, well lit. You got everything you need. You know, there's one there, there's one in every service station.
What you need to work, like, is there.
Yeah, and you don't have to go far to get it.
And every worker has got its dedicated work area, so they don't, they're not swapping.
Okay, apparently we're going to the big machines now. Right, so here we got my favorite, the Kern Micro. There's one there. There's an Aroa 80 pallet system, maybe 80, and then there's another Kern Micro, and the robots between them, they're kind of back to back, and the robot feeds back and forth, left to right, whichever machine needs another pallet.
Everywhere.
It just came directly off the machine without any post-processing.
And one set of tooling lasts over 300 parts.
With a current shirt.
We found Germany's sense of humor.
Yeah. It's actually pulling the pallets right off, storing them in the tool changer, and then putting a new pallet back on. So then that becomes a super nice internal system on the tool changer side, not needing the bigger ROA on this side. So you've got all your workpieces lined up on the bottom. Look at that, imagine that. And then you still get 100 plus tools and up to 60 workpieces. Unfortunately, the parts that I make are too big to fit on these small pallets, but it is a fantastic system. Oh, look at that little fan. So most of these machines run cutting oil, not coolant like we're used to. Marvin and I were playing with cutting oil yesterday. It's very oily. It doesn't blow off with the air gun. The parts stay oily. They have to be cleaned with some sort of degreaser. So we're going to the ultrasonic room right now, the cleaning. So the parts go on a cart and then they get rolled to the cleaning department.
So was that the one that we would have been looking at? That small? Or is there
No, much smaller than that
smaller,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like more than 10 years old. Different smell, and they're really like those surface grinding machines. So we've got 2 of them.
Yum.
Yeah. And we can get 1-2 micron flatness with them. Still.
Wow.
Yeah. But it really depends on the worker.
Does it do custom shapes?
Yes, like on the plate we can make shapes.
I see.
Yeah, very similar cars. Check this out. I know our guys at the shop, Angela and Sky, are going to really find this fascinating. Those are the copper bits, and this is just a binder and plate. The plate looks just like ours with the radial grooves down to the center. Even got the same hole in the center like that. What was the
silicium carbide. So the polishing agent is silicium carbide.
Okay, yeah. So they got the lapping rings just like ours. So carrier rings just like ours. These are thick.
So the polishing they actually do on, but actually,
lap master. That's very common.
They do the polishing with.
Okay, so what is this then? That looks like felt, some sort of.
So this probably, like, if you see the bottles, so there's 3 micron.
3 micron.
At least, that's my guess.
So we typically use 9 micron on our blades, I believe, and 15 micron on our handles. And we're not going for a mirror polish. I think we bought some 3 micron, we just never used it.
That was discussing with John that you got, like, this is for proper polishing.
Yes.
Whereas you also lap for flatness.
Yes.
So you cannot combine the both on one
the one machine, right? No.
Right?
Very cool. No cheating.
Whoa! That was quick.
But the sound when you click it, that's just like
feels good.
It's just like solid.
So I forgot my batteries and my SD cards at home. Lauren's brought me more batteries, more SD cards. I filled up 2 SD cards already. I'm on my phone now. This is the last one. So now we're in the EDM room.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So did you know that we drove through a hair?
I heard about this.
Have you seen the picture? Yes.
Yeah, so this is like
So like a grain of salt is the 500.
We have a couple of really high quality CMMs. So for example the Zeiss Prismo over there, and the Zeiss F25, which is probably the most precise CMM ever made. So this is like the final inspection.
It doesn't look like a traditional CMM. It's because it's
it's completely increased.
It was developed for not for industrial applications, more for labs.
I see.
this is the tool room. So I noticed they have Garant Hoffman everything. Benches, tables, drawers.
We do have a software, I don't know if you know it, it's called Zoller.
Zoller, yeah?
Zoller, you know that one?
Yep.
So it's the software for
so every
tool management. Yeah.
every tool has a barcode and you scan it with the scanner, and then it tells that I've taken one from the system. I'm using it for this job even. This is a cleaning and ultrasonic room. We just got our ultrasonic a few weeks ago. I like this stuff.
So, and then we have the conventional ultrasonic baths here. But what is
conventional ultrasonic bath?
This one is not conventional. This one is special.
What's in it?
Cleaning machine.
Oh, cool.
And we created fixtures for cleaning the parts. So you can have a look in there.
Those are parts?
No, those are just
those
the fixtures. So that's where we put in the parts for the ultrasonic cleaning, and the really big advantage is we can choose customer programs here. So we just say customer A, and after customer A we're gonna clean customer B, and we need 2 different fluids for it.
Very nice lunchroom. It's like a greenhouse. So these guys are cool. I've Avalon. So it's a small tumbler. I've actually been wanting to get one of these for a couple years. It's a Centrifugal Rotary tumbler, I think it's called. Got a couple different medias in the bottom. And the cool thing is it just tilts forward and dumps your parts and your media into there and then strains your parts out. They're very cool.
What did you think of that? Wasn't that epic? The 2 factories, Kern K1 and K2 basically, the assembly plant, the job shop, super duper awesome. We had such an amazing time. Thank you guys at Kern so much for having us, opening your doors, letting us film like nobody's filmed there before. So hopefully you don't cut out all of the cool footage so that we can actually show some cool stuff. But the intricacy and the mindset of, I mean, the job shop was just mental. I didn't film a lot of the actual parts that they're making. We filmed that little turbine, but there were some other titanium parts that were insane. We couldn't film it due to NDAs and stuff, but it was really cool for us to be able to go and see them and look at them and talk to the programmers, the machinists, the designers, and see how they run such a good, small part, tight machining, tight tolerance shop. It was fun. It was so much fun. So I'm glad I could bring you guys along. Hope you guys enjoyed.